Okay, we're up and running. Powered up pretty much straight away. I think it did some cycle of discovering the card. We've got display on the screen, which is good. I've got the broken egg, the cracked egg on the LCD of the card itself, but that's just because the drivers aren't set up for the RGB. But yeah, it's very quiet at the moment. Not a lot of fans spinning, but the side of the PC isn't on, but there's a big fan on the side of the PC. But yeah, we look good so far. So if it sounds a bit funny, a bit shaky, it's because I'm under my desk here. It does sit on the floor, on a hardwood floor. Best place for it for me. But yeah, I didn't tie the cables back just in case I had to do any rework. So they're still a little bit loose, so I'll tie those in, get the side on, and give it a go in some games, see what happens. But looking good so far. Plenty of RGB there as well. Wasn't a big fan of RGB, but kind of grown to like it. Doesn't show too much through the side of my case anyway, but does give off a bit of a change in light glow at times, so pretty cool. Anyway, it's in, it's up and running. It's a good start. Okay, yeah, hopefully it's picking that up. I'm in a game at the moment, and the fans are spinning, and I've never heard a card so loud. Not a massive improvement frame rate wise over the 2080 Super. So in squad I was just trying there, 120 to 140 FPS, not really going above that. Same frame time as well, sort of 6 to 7 milliseconds. But quite a lot of fan noise. Certainly the 2080 Super didn't spin up and sound that aggressive, so may need to play with some settings perhaps, but that'll be unbearable, that, to be honest with you. So I've got to make some adjustments there. Well, it's I've just gone back into a game, the squad. That's really noisy, that card. The slight grinding noise, that's one of the CPU fans off the Corsair radiator, but the actual high flow, high spinning fans, that's the card. Quite a racket so far. So at the moment, not really an initial jump over the 2080 Super. In fact, I'm seeing less FPS right now than I do in the 2080 Super, but I've also just updated the drivers as well, so perhaps it's a setting within the drivers. But I'm actually seeing a performance degradation between the 2080 Super right now and the 3080 Ti, which clearly wouldn't be expecting. It's a bit of an odd one. I'm going to come out of the game and take a look, but here usually I'll be expected to see 130 to 140, 145 FPS, just static in one of the towns, not a lot around me. So yeah, obviously just got the camera pointed at the screen and the frame rate counter there from in-game. Not massively impressed just at this point, but as I say, it could be some settings, so let me have a fiddle and come back. And before I check any of those settings, just listen to the decibels of the card. It really is making quite a noise. Never heard a card that loud before. Okay, so I've come out of the game now and let it settle for a few minutes. Temperature's dropped to, it's fluctuating between about 48 and 51C, currently sitting at 51C, which is quite high for idle. But fan noise you should be able to detect. It's dropped off massively now, but we're not running any 3D applications, so we need to figure that out because it's just way too loud. The other odd thing that I've noticed, apart from nothing of a frame rate improvement over the 2080 Super, if anything less, which is very odd, was there was a bit of a stutter, almost like a micro stutter that you used to get if you were running 2 GPUs in a SLI or Crossfire on AMD cards. So got to be something odd as either a driver setting or yeah, well, I'm not sure, just going to have to figure it out. So I'll report back on that, on some findings, but not quite got the immediate jump in performance I was expecting. Upgraded the drivers pretty much straight away. One thing I noticed on the power mode settings for the NVIDIA card, which has always been an interesting one when you update the drivers, I always used to set it to one of the settings which degraded the performance, but it was always, on more recent drivers, it was always setting itself to adaptive, and adaptive power management was the one that gave the best frame rates. Now it's just gone to, what's the setting, let's have a look. So you've got 2 settings now on these latest drivers, which is normal or prefer maximum performance. So hopefully normal is the old adaptive, because adaptive was what gave you the best frame rates over any other power management modes on the cards. Prefer maximum performance never really worked well, so possibly might be something to do with the power management. But either way, got to do something about that fan noise, because it's pretty horrendous. Nice and silent now because the card is doing absolutely nothing, although it is idling right now at 52C. So let me just go to the screen and show you that. So there we have it in Afterburner. It's running at 52C. It's idling at 52C, which is kind of interesting, really, considering it's doing nothing. The 2080 Super definitely idle much lower than that, so slight concern. And then the setting that I was talking about is basically, you used to have 3 settings here on the power management, and adaptive was there. That used to work really well. I think it was prefer maximum performance, prefer quality, or no, it wasn't quality. It was one other setting, and then adaptive. I always reset it to adaptive. I've just tried it at maximum performance, hasn't really made any difference, but at normal wasn't getting the results that I was expecting. So it's getting on a bit here in the evening, so I'm going to give it a break for tonight, come back to it tomorrow, see how we go, see what we can find, see if we can sort out the high fan speeds and the noise that's kicking out because of those high fan speeds, and the performance. Certainly not what I'd be expecting out of the box. I was expecting quite a big leap over the 2080 Super, and so far I've seen a degradation, so it's just got to be a setting somewhere. We'll see how we go, figure it out, and I'll report back. Cheers.